Today's thought is a room without books is like a body without a soul. I repeat it again. A room without books is like a body without a soul. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I hope all of you are safe and fit at home. This video is for the students of class 8, subject English, and this is my revision lecture number 4. Students, today in this video, we shall revise our chapter number 2, that is the Tsunami, which is taken from the book Honeydew. Then we shall revise our chapter number 3, that is Verbs, Tenses. Chapter number 4, that is Present and Past. And chapter number 5, that is talking about the future. These all chapters are taken from P.C. Wren's grammar book. Basically, in this video, we are not going to learn these chapters in detail because we have already discussed them in detail. So today, we shall just have a review of these chapters. Then we shall discuss the homework solution of the homework which was assigned you in lecture number 1 of chapter 3, that is Verbs and Tenses. So let's start our revision with the summary of chapter number 2, that is the Tsunami. Let's see the introduction of the chapter. A question arises. What is tsunami? The answer of the question is tsunami refers to a very large and powerful wave in the sea. It is caused by some earthquake under the sea. One such calamity hit several countries on 26 December 2004. The worst affected parts were coastal parts of India, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Thailand. About 1,50,000 people lost their lives, but animals suffered very few casualties. Perhaps they had sensed the coming earthquake and they ran to the safer high places. This lesson recounts a few stories of bravery and intelligence when the tsunami hit the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Unfortunate Ignesious. The first story is about Ignesious, the manager of a cooperative society in Catch Hall. He was woken up by his wife at 6 a.m. The family rushed out of the house. When the earth stopped shaking, the sea started rising. The waves washed away his wife, 2 children and in-laws. But other 3 children were saved because they were with him. Brave Sanjeev. Sanjeev was a policeman. He managed to save himself, his wife and baby daughter from the waves. But soon he heard cries for help from the wife of John, the guest house cook. He jumped into the water to rescue her, but both were washed away. Fortunate Meghna. 13 years old, Meghna was carried away along with her parents and 77 other people. She held on to a wooden door for 2 days. 11 times the relief helicopters flew overhead, but they could not see her. However, she was brought to the shore at the last by a wave. Tragedy of Almas. Almas Javed was 10 years old, student of a convent school in Port Blair. Her father had gone to another island to celebrate Christmas. Almas' father saw the sea waves receding in the morning. He understood that the waves would come back with great force. He tried to take his family to a safer place, but her father and grandfather were swept away by a giant wave. Her mother and aunts have washed away with coconut tree. Almas climbed onto a log of wood. She later found herself in a hospital. Intelligent Tilly. This is a story from Thailand. The Smith family was celebrating Christmas at a beach resort. The parents had two daughters. The water kept coming in on 26 December 2004. But little Tilly Smith sensed the danger ahead. She recalled the geography lesson that tsunami could be caused by earthquakes, volcanoes, and landslides. She called her family to get out of the beach. Her parents went up to the third floor of the hotel and survived. Thus, her geography lesson saved their lives. The animal sense. While humans have lost their lives, wild and domestic animals sensed the danger in time. Elephants ran for higher ground, and the dogs, birds, and zoo animals looked for safer places. Perhaps animals possess a sixth sense. They feel the tremor long before humans realize. So, not many animals were reported dead. At Yala National Park in Sri Lanka, no dead bodies of animals were found while 60 visitors were washed away. A Sri Lankan Man. A Sri Lankan gentleman who lived on the coast near Galle. His two dogs were usually excited to go out, but on the day of the tsunami, they refused to go out for their run on the beach and hence saved their owner's life. So this was a summary of the chapter 2, the tsunami. Now let's revise our grammar topic, tenses. Tenses is divided into 3 chapters in the book. Chapter number 3, that is verbs and tenses. Chapter number 4, that is present and past. Chapter number 5, that is talking about the future. Students, as we have already discussed the meaning of the tenses in chapter number 3 and 4. So let's have a quick recap of it. Tenses are the forms of a verb that are used to show the time of the action expressed by the verb. I repeat it again. Tenses are the forms of a verb that are used to show the time of the action expressed by the verb. Tenses tell us whether an action takes place in the past, present, or future. Or in simple way, we can say that tense is a form of a verb which denotes the time of an action and its degree of completeness. To clarify it, let's see some examples. Number 1. They are coming to school daily. Number 2. He came to hospital. Number 3. I shall come next Sunday. Notice one thing. The same verb come is used in all these sentences. But we find different forms of the verb in the sentences. The form of the verb in the first sentence, are coming, refers to present time and shows that the action is continuing. The form of the verb in the second sentence, came, refers to past time and shows that the action was completed. The form of the verb in the last sentence, shall come, refers to the future time and shows that the action will complete. The tenses used in the given sentences are In the first sentence, present continuous tense is used. In the second sentence, simple past tense is used. And in the last sentence, future simple tense or simple future or future indefinite tense is used. Let's see how many kinds of tenses are there. Number 1, present tense. Number 2, past tense. Number 3, future tense. So there are 3 tenses: present tense, past tense and future tense. Present tense shows present time. Past tense shows past time. And future tense shows future time. To express the degree of completeness of any action, each tense means present tense, past tense and future tense is subdivided into 4 heads, means 4 forms. That is indefinite, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. So all the tenses are subdivided into 4 forms, that is indefinite, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. Students, as we have already discussed the meaning of verbs in lecture number 1 of chapter 2. So let's have a quick recapitulation of it. A verb is a word or a combination of words that indicates an action or a state of being or condition. I repeat it again. A verb is a word or a combination of words that indicates an action or a state of being or condition. A verb is the part of a sentence that tells us what the subject performs. In simple way, we can say that a verb is a word used to express certain action done by somebody or something. Tense of verb. A verb also tells us about the time of an action. The tense of a verb denotes the time of an action. The present tense of a verb tells us about an action that is taking place now or an action that happens regularly. The past tense of a verb tells us about an action that took place at some time in the past. The future tense of a verb tells us about an action that will take place at some time in the future. For example, he goes. Here, the verb goes refers to the present time since it talks about present moment. Number 2, he went to circus. So here, the verb went refers to the past time since it talks about past time. A question arises. What is the meaning of forms of verbs? The answer of this question is, the form of a verb changes according to the person, number and tense. Let's see how many kinds of form of verbs are there. Number 1, that is base form, or we can say first form of the verb. It is used in simple present tense and simple future tense. Number 2, that is past tense, or we can say it second form of the verb. It is used in simple past tense. Number 3, that is past participle, or we can say it third form of the verb. It is used in all the perfect tenses, whether it is present, past or future. Last, number 4 is present participle. This form of the verb, it is used in all the continuous tenses, whether it is present, past or future. We add ing at the end of the verb. Basically, there are 6 forms of the verbs. But in your book, only 4 basic forms of the verbs are given. Let's see how many types of verbs are there. Number 1, that is regular verbs. Number 2, that is irregular verbs. So there are 2 types of verbs, regular verbs and irregular verbs. Let's see how many kinds of regular verbs are there. Number 1, we add ed at the end of the base form to form their past and past participle forms. For example, call, called, called. Number 2, if the verb ends in a consonant and y, we change the y to I and add ed to the base form. For example, study, studied, studied. Number 3, if a verb ends in e, we simply add d to the base form. For example, like, liked, liked. So these were the 3 kinds of regular verbs. Let's see how many kinds of irregular verbs are there. Number 1, all the 3 forms are the same, means base form, past tense and past participle. For example, cut, cut, cut. Number 2, 2 of the 3 forms are the same. For example, build, built, built. Number 3, all the 3 forms are different. For example, go, went, gone. So these were the 3 kinds of irregular verbs. Students, as we have already discussed the meaning, uses and structure or identification with examples of all the 3 tenses, that is past, present and future. So let's have a recapitulation of it again. The structure of the simple past tense is subject plus second form of the verb plus object. For example, the author ate cheesecake yesterday. The form of the verb eat refers to the simple past tense and it is used to indicate a past habit or an action already completed. The structure of the simple present tense is subject plus first form of the verb plus s or es plus object. For example, the author eats cheesecake every day. The form of the verb eats refers to the simple present tense and it is used to express habits or journal truth, to indicate a future event on a designated date as part of a plan or arrangement. The structure of the future simple tense or simple future tense is subject plus will or shall plus first form of the verb plus object. For example, the author will eat cheesecake tomorrow. Here, the form of the verb will eat refers to the simple future tense and it is used to indicate an action, condition or circumstance which hasn't taken place yet. Progressive or continuous tense. The structure of the past continuous tense is subject plus was or were plus first form of the verb plus ing plus object. For example, the author was eating cheesecake when his friends arrived. The form of the verb was eating refers to the past continuous tense and it is used to indicate uncompleted action of the past with or without time reference. It is used to indicate persistent habits of the past with continually, always, forever, etc. The structure of the present continuous tense is subject plus is, am or are plus first form of the verb plus ing plus object. For example, the author is eating cheesecake right now. The form of the verb is eating refers to the present continuous tense and it is used to indicate action occurring at the time of the speaking. It is used to indicate temporary action which may be or may not be occurring at the time of the speaking. The structure of the future continuous tense is subject plus will or shall plus be plus first form of the verb plus ing plus object. For example, the author will be eating cheesecake when his friends arrive. Here, the form of the verb will be eating refers to the future continuous tense and it is used to indicate what will be going on at some time in the future. To indicate planned future events. Perfect tense. The structure of the past perfect tense is subject plus had plus third form of the verb plus object. For example, the author had eaten all the cheesecake when his friends arrived. The form of the verb had eaten refers to the past perfect tense and it is used to indicate a completed action of the past that happened before another event took place. The structure of the present perfect tense is subject plus has or have plus third form of the verb plus object. For example, the author had eaten all the cheesecake. The form of the verb has eaten refers to the present perfect tense and it is used to indicate past action which is not defined by a time of occurrence. To indicate an action that started in the past and has continued up until now. The structure of the future perfect tense is subject plus will plus have plus third form of the verb plus object. For example, the author will have eaten all the cheesecake by the time his friends arrive. The form of the verb will have eaten refers to the future perfect tense and it is used to indicate an action that will be complete before another event takes place. Perfect progressive or continuous tense. The structure of the past perfect continuous tense is subject plus had plus been plus first form of the verb plus ing plus object. For example, the author had been eating cheesecake for 2 hours when his friends arrived. The form of the verb had been eating refers to the past perfect continuous tense and it is used to indicate an action in the past that began before a certain point in the past and continued up until that point in time. The structure of the present perfect continuous tense is subject plus has or have plus been plus first form of the verb plus ing plus object. For example, the author has been eating cheesecake for 2 hours. The form of the verb has been eating refers to the present perfect continuous tense and it is used to indicate an action which started at some point in the past and may or may not be completed. The structure of the future perfect continuous tense is subject plus will or shall plus have plus been plus first form of the verb plus ing plus object. For example, the author will have been eating cheesecake for 2 hours when his friends arrive. The form of the verb will have been eating refers to the future perfect continuous tense and it is used to indicate an action that will have happened for some time and will not be complete yet at a certain point in the future. So, these were the structures, examples and uses of all the 3 tenses. that is past, present and future. Let's see what is the difference between will and going to. Will is used when there is no connection to the present, while going to is used when there is a connection to the present. Will is used with the future facts or things we believe to be true, while going to is not used with the future facts or things we believe to be true. Will is used at the moment of taking a decision, while going to is used to talk about a planned activity. Will is used to make a prediction in the far off future, while going to is used to express a prediction based on evidence in the present. Will is used to indicate promises, offers, requests or invitations, while going to is not used to indicate such things. So these were the difference between will and going to form. There are some exceptions when we use simple present tense or present continuous tense instead of simple future tense in the sentences. Let's see how with examples. For scheduled events means official timings, timetabled events, calendar timings, simple present tense is used instead of future tense. Let's see some examples to clarify it. The train leaves at 4 o'clock. Number 2, the exam starts next week. Number 3, the bus goes at 5:30 p.m. For plans and arrangements that have already been made, present continuous tense is used instead of future tense. Let's see some examples to clarify it. I am flying to New York tomorrow. Number 2, we are getting married next week. Number 3, they are having a party at Christmas. Let's see what is the difference between for and since when they are used in present perfect tense and present perfect continuous tense. For is used to define a period of time. Since is used to define a particular point of time. To clarify this, let's see some examples. When for or since they are used in present perfect tense. We have lived here for 21 years. We have lived here since 1999. When for or since they are used in present perfect continuous tense. I have been walking for 5 hours. I have been walking since 10 p.m. So these were the examples to clarify how to use for or since in present perfect tense and present perfect continuous tense. Students, you have to complete your homework on the basis of the chapters explained by me. And your homework is do assignment based on chapter 2, that is the Tsunami of literature. Chapter 3, verbs and tenses. Chapter 4, that is present and past. And chapter 5, that is talking about the future of the grammar, which is uploaded in homework column on EduQuark website. You have to complete this assignment in your fair notebook. Now, in this video, we shall discuss the homework solution of the homework which was assigned you in lecture number 1 of chapter 3, that is verbs, tenses. Students, as we have already discussed the meaning, uses and structures or identifications with examples of all the 3 tenses, that is past, present and future, in lecture number 1 of chapter 3, that is verbs and tenses. As I assigned you homework which was to be done by you on the basis of your understanding, and your homework was revise chapter 3, that is verbs and tenses, from the book or video, and based on the understanding of the topic, do exercise mentioned in the book PC Tense Grammar as. Page number 26, exercise number 1. Students, let's discuss the exercise in detail. Exercise number 1. Name the tense of each of the verbs in the following sentences. Number 1. The river flows under the bridge. The form of the verb flows refers to the simple present tense and it is used to indicate general truth. Number 2. I will answer the letter this afternoon. The form of the verb will answer refers to the simple future tense and it is used to denote future action or event. Number 3. It has been raining all day. The form of the verb has been raining refers to the present perfect continuous tense and it is used to describe an action which began in the past and still continuing. Number 4. I had finished when he came. The form of the verb had finished refers to the past perfect tense and it is used to describe an action which had finished before another action took place in the past. Number 5. I have lived here for 6 years. The form of the verb have lived refers to the present perfect tense and it is used to express an action that began in the past and still continues. Number 6. By this time tomorrow, I will have reached my home. The form of the verb will have reached refers to the future perfect tense and it is used to express an action which is expected to be completed by a certain time in the future. Number 7. He said he had finished his work. The form of the verb had finished refers to the past perfect tense and it is used to denote an action which has been completed before some point of time. Number 8. I will be flying to Singapore at this time tomorrow. The form of the verb will be flying refers to the future continuous tense and it is used to express when the future action is the result of a previous decision or arrangement. Number 9. I was having a bath when the phone rang. The form of the verb was having refers to the past continuous tense and it is used to show that one activity was in progress while another took place. Number 9. We have been waiting for the bus since 4:30. The form of the verb have been waiting refers to the present perfect continuous tense and it is used to describe an action which began in the past and still continues. Note the important information. On Friday, solution of assignment will be uploaded on EdQuark website. On Saturday, test will be uploaded on EdQuark website. No video lectures will be uploaded on Friday and Saturday. So, this is the end of the lecture. At last, I would like to say that do your assignment in neat and clean handwriting in your fair notebook and revise all the chapters for the test. Students, if you like our videos, then don't forget to hit on the like button and subscribe the channel. Thank you and have a nice day.